So what's going on, everybody? It's your boy TK. Set it off again with another video. This one obviously a response to DJ Hes and what he put out this morning. One thing I wanted you to know, like as far as intentions goes for the reason why I did the video, definitely not beef intended. I'm just trying to have a positive outlook on that. And the reason why I say that is because when you think negative, even though the options are there, you know, and it is going to be there, you know, I think in more of a positive outlook on it can move people forward into feeling like this is a good look and pushing it out to what it is. So when I sit here and, you know, I did the video last night and I did it blacked out, part of it was because at the time, you know, of my situation. But great points you made. I'm happy that you did clear that up as far as the gold tips and everything that comes on the shoes, because honestly that is something I didn't know. And this is part of the reason why I do this video and why I wanted to reach out to people and talking about it. What the intentions are, like I said, I agree that, you know, in a certain sense, you know, there wasn't that need to fuck this person, fuck that person. But at the same time, you know, I agree with what he's trying to do for the simple fact because I'm looking for that change as well as, you know, a lot of people would agree with me. On here, thinking about a lot of the situations, I definitely agree upon what you said in your videos. I don't look at it as a necessarily a negative outlook, though in that last video, in a certain part of me did, just because it was like, oh, it's, you know, in reality, you can't do it. But, you know, that's not what we should instill in everybody head. You know, what we want to do is push it to be like, hey, you know, this can't be done, this is a possibility. That's the reason why, you know, even though maybe Nike may not hear us out, maybe Nike may not take the time, but for them to not take the time and hear people out, especially for the simple reason that we are the consumers, we are the ones that, you know, we are the buyers for these shoes that put money in their pockets all the time. I mean, there's a voice and opinion that does need to be heard. And the guy that I spoke with and I had that half-hour conversation with, you know, he took the time to write the notes down, and he sounded excited and happy for me to talk about the shoes and to take the time to talk to me. Like, he didn't have to do that. Some people are more than willing to just get off the phone, you know, get off and just be like, you know, I got a job to do type of thing. But he, you know, he wrote it down, and I actually got something as a resume that came, a survey, sorry, not resume, I don't know what I'm talking about, tired. But you know, it sent me a survey about it, and I actually responded to it. I mean, these are things that we can't come together and we can't do, and I just want to have a positive outlook on this. And like I said, you know, I would like more of a discussion video of, like, you know, with people on the phone, maybe one person recording and then the other two people on the line, or however best way it would work out, because like I said, I'm looking for change. And, you know, where you touched on the resellers and stuff like that, like, there's a negative and there's a positive. There's to everything that comes out, you know, no matter what you do in life. If you go and you buy a hat, the positive part is you got your hat, but guess what? Now you're at $32 that you had in your pocket previously. So where most people, you know, they rock and stock, you know, as far as that goes, it is what it is. I mean, you know, everybody has their things and how they want to play it out. So, you know, jumping off a little bit for one thing that people are hating on DJ Hes as far as him stocking his shoes and everything like that, that's his money. He works for his money. Whatever he does with it is comes on him, and that's what a lot of people just tend to don't understand. And they're hating, and that's exactly what it is. They're hating because of the fact that this guy got all these shoes, he's not rocking them, and I could be wearing them. You know what I'm saying? And part of me, you know, I feel that way in a certain sense, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm not going to knock it, because you brought yourself up to that point to have, you know, 100+ shoes. You know, Jumpman is another one. He got a lot of his shoes, but he rocks every single one that, you know, he does buy. But at the same time, I mean, you're going to knock him for having over 900 shoes or over 800 shoes for whatever it is, because he has all these pairs that he's been collecting since, you know, he was younger, you know, in his life. And a lot of people look up to him, you know what I mean? And that's what I was basically looking to, as far as this video goes, is for the ones that these people look up to, as like even for DJ Dells as well, which threw me off. And I watch everybody's videos. I don't hate on anybody. And the one thing that threw me off with DJ Dells was his response and how he was treating his people, for the ones that he's always telling he loves, and he, you know what I mean, his fans and everything like that. And it was like, this one kid made a comment on his video and was like, hey, you know, this guy was mentioned you in his videos, and automatically was like, he's a nobody to me, you know what I mean, like he's above everybody else. And that's just the kind of way that he brought it out to me. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but like I said, it's an opinion, and no opinion is wrong or right, because it's just how you feel. So in my eyes it could be right, in your eyes it could be wrong. But like I said, I want a positive outlook on this. And the way that he treated this guy basically was, he was like, oh, well, you know, you're gonna say that automatically, this kid got blocked. I mean, I don't know the whole story behind it. I didn't really follow up on it, but I thought that was wrong for the fact that he sat there and he did that. And I don't pick sides either. I'm my own person. I stand my own ground. So what I believe in, if I believe in something that somebody says, I'm going to follow it, or I'm going to be a leader next to that person. I'm not going to sit here and let other people make up my mind. And that's why I made the comment as well, is a lot of kids go on there like, well, should I buy this shoe or should I buy that shoe? No, you shouldn't have to ask that question. That question should be upon what you feel like you like more. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have money for one pair of shoes, well, which one would you prefer to have? Like I said, I'm not the type of sneakerhead. I have all these shoes. I'm not built like a lot of people like this, but I have a passion for them. I care for them. And as far as that goes, everybody just needs to understand, like, this needs to be just going forward in a positive aspect. Though don't let me disagree with you at all, because like you said, there's always going to be something else that comes in that we're going to want to change. But let's go ahead and start one step at a time. So the way I see it as, everybody has their opinions. There's even people that, maybe not even be known. Because for me, I only got 35 subscribers, and that was 4+ than what I had yesterday. And I actually had 219 views off of this video alone, which is honestly the most views that I've had of any of my videos. I have another one that's like 130 something, didn't even come close, and it's because people are looking at this and saying, hey, you know what, this guy has a voice, he decided to say something, let's hear what he has to say. And they gave me the opportunity to basically reach out to people. And I agree with you, not everybody has this many viewers, but that's why I also touched on the subject, like the online is such a big place and it's such a big thing, and a lot of people spend a lot of time online, especially where you find kids more on the computer than you do outside playing out and stuff, or you got video games or anything like that. So like I said, pushing forward, looking forward, I'm just trying to keep a positive attitude on it, so that way we can do the right things and meet up in the right direction, because as together as a whole, things can change, things can happen. And I feel like everybody in general, we got this. I mean, I believe in it enough to know that, there's steps that can be taken. But, as you said, and the gold tips, referring back to that, that told me something. I learned something. I didn't know about that, so now I understand why. But now my question is, okay, instead of having that and making it look so cheap, why can't we get something different? Maybe, for example, carbon fiber tips, painted into gold with that shiny look to them, or something like that, just in general. Maybe that's not the right way, to even word it, or the right material to be able to use, but the sense of, don't take away what was originally with the shoe that made it pop, that made it look really good. And that's what's aggravating me as well, as far as the quality. Like, for example, I was talking about, which you haven't seen it yet, and I haven't put the video out yet, but I got these shoes in. And the thing that aggravates me the most, these are brand new. I got them just in the mail yesterday, or on Friday. And these right here, it's already messed up. You can see it, and that's what I'm talking about, is poor quality. Like, I just spent basically $178 and some change on a pair of shoes, and yet I'm not getting them flawless. And that's the problem with Nike itself. Like, in a sense, it seems like they're rushing a lot of things just to meet that quota. And you say they take the time, and the shoes are starting to be produced or worked on within a year before. Why are we getting things like this? This is my opinion on it, and I hope people just realize that I'm not looking for fighting, arguing. I'm looking for us to come together and to work it out with each other. You're not going to always agree with what somebody else says, but you know what? At the least you could do is listen, take what they say in, and understand where they're coming from. You don't have to necessarily agree with them, but just understand it, because I'm the type of person where I always see two sides of the story. I don't always go off of what one person says. I listen to what both says, and if I have an opinion, I'll say, listen, you're wrong, you're right. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest. That's the type of person I am. I mean, I don't need to sit here and say, oh, I'm a real motherfucker. I know what I am. I don't need to put it out there. But I hope I didn't go off too far with everything. But I definitely think, that the way the game is going, like resellers, they were touching up on it. As far as that goes, there's this positive and negative. The positive part on it is when you couldn't get that shoe, you have an opportunity to get it. But it sucks because you're putting the money in somebody else's pocket, as well as Jordan Brand, because they put up the money to Jordan Brand, but then they're paying the extra. Now the smart thing to do, in my opinion, to fix that, and it's not going to take it's going to take more than one person to be able to do it. It's going to take multiple people coming together on this, and that's basically going to be taking the video. And actually this is about to cut off here in just a second, so let me go ahead and just cut this off and